Have you heard about this personal and professional podcast?
Coaching in Session with your host, Michael Rearden.
How are we doing, Mukesh?
Thank you, Michael. How are you?
Good. So we're just going to have an easy conversation today, talking about your work as a fulfillment coach.
Beautiful.
Let's just start off. What got you into this type of work?
First of all, I'll tell you that my name is Mukesh, and I, help individuals and small business owners create financial freedom and a fulfilled life for themselves and their loved ones. And to answer your question, is it okay if I share my story as a background so that it connects that why actually I'm talking about this? Yeah, happy with that? Wonderful. See, I was born in a very small town in India where my dad was a franchisee of a very successful logistics company. So the money was good. This franchisor were brothers, and they decided one day to shut down the business, which meant that my father, my family were without business, without income from that day. So my dad then looked for the very similar sized businesses, but he couldn't find any. And then one of my uncles suggested, why shouldn't we start our own logistics company? That's what they did. However, they didn't realize that this new business needed a different mindset, different skill set, and the capital, which my dad didn't have. And so they were, my dad was behind, this business had more overheads than the previous one. My dad was behind paying wages some months, and he had to borrow money from friends and relatives to keep the business going. So he was stuck. He couldn't see any path. And that pushed my mom into the mindset of scarcity and anxiety. This was a reflection of how she was brought up in a home with her 7 sisters. And I tried to help, but I couldn't do any much help because I was also working as a lost young man. One of my friends encouraged me to come to Australia for the studies. And needless to say, my family didn't have any savings. They had the financial challenges. However, they still loved me, supported me, and they mortgaged the family home. And I came to Australia and worked in restaurants to pay the bills. And then after completing masters in accounting and CPA, I started my own accounting company, where I noticed those 3 main problems in the industry that I got connected with. That the small businesses, the failure rate is very high in the first few years. And when they retire, they do not have enough income to live a lifestyle they want to. And our accountants used to focus more on compliance and reporting rather than helping them create a profitable and fulfilling business. So I got connected with the clients, and I understood their pain, the same pain which I witnessed with my mom and dad firsthand. So then the clients liked me. I started growing. Then we hired more people. In those 6 years that we solved those 3 problems for our clients. However, I was still unfulfilled. I was still feeling, a constant conflict between my day-to-day, what I'm doing now versus what I wanted to do. So that constant, that conflict, I took a pause. And then I invited this couple of my team members in a conference room where we started this conversation about who we are, why we're doing what we're doing. And we spent like from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Saturday for 3 months in a row to start the process which changed our life actually. So from that day, we came out with our value system. And then I needed to say that how do I now implement it? So after reading, listening, learning from thought leaders around the globe, I found out this word called serving. And that was an aha moment, I would say. That got me out of my empty life, and which I kept asking myself what serving meant for me. And in that realization, I found that my fulfillment comes from helping other people get fulfilled, getting them unstuck. I've been lost and stuck for my whole life. I wanted to share what I found that a system that helps me now change from a headless chicken to a fulfilled human being. I wanted to share that. And so that's what I'm doing now. I'm helping. I'm writing a book. Book is releasing on 6th of November, where I'm sharing this system, which anyone can use in any situation, be it's a career, be it's a job, be it's a business, be it's a personal relationship, any question, any decision they want. It's a universal, timeless, based on timeless principle. Yeah, that's why I'm here, just to share.
Perfect. Thank you for that foundation. And I'm going to get straight into the conversation because I know everyone's hungry to get into what fulfillment is, mindset, skill set, how is going to affect their lives. Because if you take a young kid, for example, let's say 15, 16 years old, they might have an inkling of what they would like to do. I had an inkling that I wanted to do business finance, whatever that meant. So I did some accounting, finance work, and a couple years in college, I was like, this is not for me. This is after a couple internships and working in the field. I said I wasn't happy with this. And then I started to look at, is it about happiness or is it about fulfillment? And that is my question to you. What is the difference between happiness and fulfillment?
When you look at happiness is and fulfillment, the main difference how I see is a sustainable happiness is a fulfillment. When you're happy for a long time, when you're happy from within, when you understand why we're doing and why you're happy, and then create that happiness for yourself, and then be able to create for someone else. That's how I will see the difference, little difference, but it's all together, it's combined. But this is how I will define as a little difference there. Yeah, sustainable happiness. Yeah.
Okay. And then let's get into the conversation of mindset and skill set and how that helps you get to fulfillment.
Mindset, I've divided the skill into three different categories. The first skill, I'm saying skill, all the skill. I'm saying fulfillment skill is also a skill, which I'm sharing through the book about that 7-step fulfillment system, which talks about the mindset, being grateful, aligning your activities, values, habits to your purpose. And when you align those 10 elements, the life gets fulfilled. And then when you look at other skill, the second skill is your, say, software application skill. So nowadays we are in technology era, so we got to use the technology, the systems, the software, and so that helps to again create the fulfilling experiences for yourself as well as for the other person in your life, whether it's a client or someone else in your family. Number three is a technical job specific skills. Now, whether you're a doctor, you will learn medicine. If you are an accountant, you'll learn accounting, payroll, cash flow, all those skills. So when you combine these three skills, which are all can be learned, because as I say, I was born, I lived my life jealous, stuck, anxious. Definitely, I can say that it is a skill that you can learn, you can practice, you can become a better person. You can change your behavior, you can change your habits. So that's that skill. And when you combine these three skills, that's what you become. That's what you can create. And again, the path of fulfillment is then using these skills to create a fulfilling outcome for someone else.
Yeah, that's very true. I think of, like when we're getting into the fulfillment aspect, some people are not going to look at fulfillment until they get some money in their pockets, because fulfillment might mean I'm doing something I love, but it's not going to create an income just yet. Because let's say you are a rapper, you make music or something, a singer. Taylor Swift is a good example. Before Taylor Swift was Taylor Swift, she was doing little dive bars and little venues, and she was hoping to make it big. We can see her progress today, yes, but those days when she had a couple people in the crowd and she was still doing what she loved, she just did it because she loved it. And that's everyone, right? They can start any type of business. It could be a business helping people. It could be a business just offering services, like a concrete business. And they can create a large amount of wealth there. And maybe with that wealth, they can create fulfillment. But I can't tell you how many people, they amass all of this money, all of this wealth, and then 35, 40, 50, they are looking for something more in life, like more meaning. And is that fulfillment? Why do you think so many people wait so long to get it when they understand that's going to be the end of the road at one point?
See, thank you for that question, Michael. And therefore, when I define fulfillment, there are I'm capturing those 6 human needs, which means that brand, money, time, skill, health, and experience. So when you combine these 6 elements, then only you can create a fulfilled life. Now, you can write down 0 in that as a value to the money if you're doing something as a volunteer. However, you're still intentionally designing your life that what this particular job will bring to me. So when you look at brand here is not just a logo or a marketing tagline. Brand here is your own values, your purpose. That why am I doing that gig we're talking about? Why? Is it aligned with my bigger purpose? Is it something that I want to practice? Why do I want to practice? What pain does it remove? How does it bring a joy in my life? So that's the question that answers that. Is it aligned? Money is second. And I connect money with the financial freedom because everyone's life is different. Everyone's environment is different. Everyone's needs are different. So therefore, the money requirement is different. My parents could live $200 a month and live a good lifestyle. And I need more so that I can share the resources so that I can do what I want to do. And so that's the difference. But knowing how much money do you need for yourself, your family, your friends and community, for any spiritual reason, for your job, for your career, for your investments, once you understand that, what do you need? How much money do you need now and in future? It's a very objective question we can find out. And that's where then we can create the goals towards achieving those. That's the money. Number 3 is then time. How would you like to spend your 168 hours of next 7 days? Whether it's a Saturday or Sunday, whether it's a morning 6 a.m. or night 6 a.m. So that's your life. You create your ideal schedule, ideal calendar. Where would you like to spend this? So there are these 5 sections there. I'm talking about the 5 life circles. How much time you want to spend for yourself, with yourself, on your personal hobbies, in your sleep, and how much time will you spend in your work? Is it 8 hours a day, 6 hours a day, weekends or weekday? That's your decision. But you got to know where would you like to spend 168 hours. Then skill is the fourth one. That what kind of skills do you want to learn? Where do you want to feel like, I want to go deeper into? I want to learn something. I want to create something. Not, I have to just pass the exam. It's not about passing the exam. It's about what fulfills you. How much more do you want to go deep in and create something which will help the next generation? And fifth one is the health. As we know that without health, we can't be fulfilled. Whether it's a physical health or is it a mental and emotional health. So we need to look after both health. Creating that mindset we talk about where you have this sustainable fulfillment as a physical and mentally, what you eat, what you exercise. Number 6 is experiences. That creating those life experiences, that who I am working with. And this combines like 3 things: environment, care, and connection. Who I'm working with. Who are the people I'm living with? Who are the people I invite in my life? And where do I live? Is it Australia, US, India? Where do I live? So that all is important when people think about, are we starting, when we are creating life, if we intentionally design this life this way, we can create happiness, sustainable fulfillment every day of life. Because then you know Even one other thing, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey itself. It's about those conversations, it's about those challenges what we see every day, rather than haven't reached there. We never reach there. Only thing we reach is we die. Birth is one end and the death is the other end. We only die. That's the ultimate milestone, at least for this life. There may be more lives, but for this life, that is the one milestone. And between now and the death, this is a journey. We get to create, we get to experience. And we can design. That's the beautiful thing, that we can design, we can write down that what do we want, and then we can act upon that.
I was listening and I was just thinking that I know many people are they're going to have a hard time looking at these 6 elements to fulfillment, and they might say money is not my number 2, or they might say skills not my number 4. So when it comes to those elements, is it flexible toward the individual? So can everyone look at those 6 elements and say, okay, this one is my number 1, versus for my brother or my sister, this one is their number 1?
Yes, Michael. Very. Thank you for asking that question. It clears up any doubt. Yeah. See, life is. I would start that. This is your life. You are the main character in your movie. You are the man. You can change it, and we can. At different times. For example, even the nature helps us with this timeless principle that you can change it, because when we are younger, we focus more on the study and the skill part, and then we grow, then we focus on the for example the money part, or our health is, as we are young we heal much quicker than when we are older. So even nature tells us that the priorities can change, and it's all about what is priority in your life now. You give them the numbers accordingly. And you're right, sometimes health is on the top, sometimes the money is on the top, sometimes the skill is on the top. And at the same time, when I talk about those 5 life circles in that 30 cells framework, so 5 life circles, they also can change. Like some people need the family as first, other people need friends as first, some people need as a spiritual connection as first. So that's your choice, who you want to give the priority at that time. Just the message is just do self-assessment, find out what you really need, what is priority in your life, instead of living someone else's priorities. There's no harm living someone else's priorities, but agreeing to that I want to live that, that's the main thing.
I'm thinking, like, let's say someone has a dream now, like they have a dream to maybe build a big house, maybe get all of these cars and things like that. And now, like, they're able to accomplish that dream. And let's say they're 25 and they accomplish this dream.
Yep.
Now, let's say they're 50 now, fast forward, 25 years. And that dream of having that car is irrelevant. That dream of that big house doesn't mean anything to them anymore. Was the dream worth it?
Now, when we saying that it didn't mean anything, I want to go a little bit more deeper on that, and ask that with my curiosity and empathy. These are the two, I would say, values I would like to practice at that time. I want to really go deep on that. That when you had this dream, so was it your dream? That why did you want it that time? Okay, so if it was the dream at that time, so what is the dream now? What do you want? How do you see your life will fulfill now? At age of 50, yeah, we sorted that life now, and we are at age of 50 now, we're complaining. So I want to know now, okay, what will and how will your life get fulfilled? So then again, going through those elements, what will that, and I'm asking as a very curious person, not as a judgmenting, or I have no other ulterior motive when I ask that question. I'm not interrogating, I just want to know. I'm very curious that, okay, how would that make that life fulfilling for you now? And then you will say, okay, maybe if I had this, maybe if I had my friends, maybe I did some mistakes, maybe I broke some relations, maybe, and I have done it in my life. I'm in 44, 45 now, so I'm at that stage. I can see that then I can now go through that 7-step system which I'm sharing. The first step in that is, celebrate and be grateful, where I emphasize asking people to think about what 7 things are you grateful for now. And then we talk about how to achieve fulfillment in next step from step 2 to step 7. But the very first step is about what are you grateful for now? And I tell you, when I asked this question from my son last year when he was 8 years old, even he gave me a good example. He said that I'm grateful for my school, for my life, the food I have, house I have it, I have the parents. And then he got cheeky that, oh, I get some gifts, and friends. So even he could tell me that he can see there are 7 things. And I asked that question that he's grateful for. And now I'm doing this exercise with everyone, even in any situation. My father died last year. I asked this question, what I'm grateful for now? I've got my mother. I can look after her. I can listen to her. I didn't spend time listening to her. Yeah, I can complain about my father being passed away, but what about people who are in my life now? Have I given, enough? Have I done enough for their fulfillment? What about my sister? What about my brother? What about my kid? All those things, and that's why I start with, okay, what am I grateful for now? This changes everything. It puts me on a driver's seat where I can create the change within myself rather than complaining, blaming, or doing doing a victim statement, for example. Oh, this happened to me. Nothing happened to me.
What would you say is the most empowering thing or the empowering time limit or time gap that you have found to give yourself this question, the 7 things that are, most important to me or the things that I appreciate most right now? Should you do it every week? Should you do it every day, every month? I know people, they like to do it every year, New Year's resolutions. Everyone's like, I'm grateful for this year is going to be a new me, everything. And then it's just, somewhere down the line, we forget to check in.
When I say fulfillment versus happiness, so fulfillment is sustainable. Happiness means, in accounting language, fulfillment is a part of profit and loss statement, not the balance sheet. You can't just have it and put it in the drawer. It doesn't work that way. Fulfillment is a daily practice. When I say daily, it depends on. I tell you a story which I've shared in the book as well. It's a violin player. When someone, when listening to his music, then say, "Oh, you're very lucky," and then he said, "See, if I don't practice for a month, my audience can tell a difference. And if I don't practice for a week, my wife can tell a difference. And if I don't practice for a day, I can tell a difference." So fulfillment is very similar to that. What he shared about his own art, that music. So we need to practice it as frequent as your skill set, your mindset, because everyone is unique. Some are more, skilled, natural skilled in one area than others. So, yeah, it will depend on individuals. However, you got to keep practicing it. You can't just put it in the box. Oh, I learned this system and I was happy the other day, and it doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm. It's like a language, all right? You would do all the work to learn a language, and if you don't use the language, you're going to lose the language. And I can see that happening with fulfillment and happiness. It's almost like you become numb to the things that are around you, and you forget all the hard work that might have been present or put forth for you to become or get to where you are right now. I thought about that when I was all done with schooling, and I was like, oh, I can't wait till I'm done with schooling and I'm all done now and I'm working my career. And then I look back at how much I had to do to get here. And then now I'm doing less than what I did to get here. And I said, no, I can't live life like that. I was pushing that hard to get to something. And now that I got it, it doesn't mean that I should just be coasting and taking it easy and lifting my feet up. Let me give myself a new challenge, a new goal, something to live for rather than I have done what I needed to do. And now I'm just kind of cruising my way to the grave. And that's where many people, they get themselves this idea of like, there has to be something more in life. And I always say, you know, in life, like the word life, there is no meaning behind it, like it's one of those things where it's like you're a mindset coach, Mike, but why does life have no meaning? And I always say, well, life generally has no meaning. It's up to the individual to create meaning in their life. Because if I just kind of go in life and I just am nothing, I just stay in my parents' house and I just eat their food and I just play video games all day and I watch movies all day and I'm not, being of service to someone in the world. Maybe I'm a part of my parents' life, right? Maybe I created meaning for them, but am I also creating meaning for everyone else? And I like to think of meaning being a ripple effect, because if I do, or if I toss a stone of kindness or of goodness, or if I am going down those elements and I'm just, giving some experience or giving some skill or, sharing my whatever it be, it creates something for someone else. And then that is the meaning now, because now my life has had impact rather than just not having any impact at all and me being inactive. In our world today, many people are choosing that road of, I'm just going to fly under the radar. I'm just going to stay in my circumstance. I'm not going to dare greatly because they're afraid to fail. So now we have this mindset of not wanting to put themselves out there or to present themselves to be a higher version of themselves. How can we get them out of that way of thinking and getting into a more fulfilled type of mindset?
Beautiful. Your questions are very, very, thoughtful. I love that. Thank you. Thank you. And see, Michael, when you look at the meaning of life, and we can live a fulfilled life whether you have a purpose or if you do not have a purpose. Either way, you can live a good life. And because that life is designed how you live a fulfilled life, and then I tell you how does it work. See, when you have the very first step of the 7 steps is celebrate and be grateful, which is common in both lives. When you have no purpose, let's choose that. When you have no purpose, but you still are grateful for everything what happens in your life, for the outcome, and you don't miss anything in your life, then you don't miss, oh, I should have a car. Once you said that, oh, I should, or I would have this, oh, I should have this, it means then you are on that second journey, which now you want something. But the very first kind of people say, I'm very happy where I am. I'm very grateful for whatever happens in my life, whether it's positive, whether it's negative, whether I have food in my table or not. And maybe they're living life to fulfill someone else. If I can be that person, my life is so simple, so easy. I don't need any purpose, any meaning, because I can still live my life very happy, very fulfilled, because I'm always grateful. Always grateful. That's where you can stop, learning and reading anything else, and you can just live that life because this is a beautiful life. No complaints. However, if you are someone who's saying, oh, my neighbor's doing this, I want to do this, someone is inspiring me, I should do this, I should do that, then I ask people to go to the second lane, which means now find out your purpose. And you don't have to just start from life purpose. Just find out the purpose for your next thing, purpose for your next hour. Start from there and then align your activities, behavior, habits, all those things towards that purpose. Submit that. For example, if you want to learn a new skill, I want to learn podcasting, for example. If I want to learn that, now submit my activities, learn, go to YouTube, go to coaches, go to there, learn that, practice that, and you will get there. You'll get there. Sooner or later, you'll get there. So this is two kind of trajectories you will see. No purpose, purpose. Either way, you can live a good life. And this is when we start from there. The people I talk to, they get, oh, okay, so I'm not wrong. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You can live either. Okay, if you want to do a little bit more, if you want to now you've now created fulfillment for yourself. You want to create fulfillment for other people. You're on that trajectory, right? So only two paths. Now, as you mentioned, afraid to fall. See, failure has been a part of my life, and I'm very grateful that happened. Now, because even writing these stories and while reflecting when I was writing on the book, I found out this one experience, that learning experience, I would say, that when there is nothing low in your life, when there is no challenge, then there is no story. Have you ever seen a movie, a story where there was everything high, 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 and there was no challenge? It's not entertaining even. People don't want to see that. People don't want to hear that. You know, and when you look at the life, ups and downs, that's a life. When it's a straight line, you're dead. That's what we see in that, in, for example, that OT. So what is the meaning of fail here? There's nothing, no one fails anything. It's someone else's definition of, oh, you should have done it better. It's okay. My definition is I did that. I'm grateful for what I did that and what I learned from that, because reflection is also a celebration. And this is why I'm again sharing that message, that have only those people in your life circle whose values are aligned with your values, whose life is designed to help you live your life. Because you see, everyone's the main character in their own movie. We need to share this message more often. Your life is your life. You can play a supporting actor role, not the main lead. I can't play the main lead in everyone's life. I can't be. Your life. I'm here to support you. I'm here to help you create what you want. So why fear? And gratitude and fear, they don't stay together. That's what I found. When you live a life of gratitude, fears go away. You find people to help you, find people to support you. Then you can live a bigger life. The bigger you want, not someone else wants.
I think of keeping with the same analogy of the movies. Sylvester Stallone. He's the one who created all the Rocky movies. And Eye of the Tiger, he's running up the stairs and he's fighting and he's winning, and then he has a hurdle and he loses, or he has to win the championship, right? That makes the movie entertaining, right? Because if you just winning, it kind of becomes repetitive. And I understand there are some movies like that, and they add humor to it to kind of offset that goodness. So like they add humor into the mix. But just going to that movie alone, he has so many mind things that help people see, like, it's not about how many times you get knocked down, for it's how many times you get back up. Or it's not always about focusing on the good. It's about being grateful that you can try again, you can get up again. So like, he does a lot of mindset stuff in the movies, and many movies kind of do that too, where they have that climax and then things go downhill. And I know sometimes people, they want to turn off the movie, but guess what, that's what makes the movie good. And sometimes in life, sometimes you get that bad thing in your life, like it could be loss of a loved one, loss of a job or career. I say that that's a lesson, as it's going to teach you something, because if you just had good in your life, you couldn't appreciate the good that you have, because you're going to just think of it as your homeostasis. Like, yeah, I have a house, yeah, I have food, but it's not until you don't have food or you don't have a house can you appreciate the things that you have. Now, of course, you can do some introspection. You can say, let me be grateful for the things that I have in my life today. But let me tell you this now. This is for the audience. When's the last time you did that? Now, of course, if you were maybe religious, if you go to church, of course, you're going to probably be doing that every Sunday, right? Maybe you are super religious and you say, I'm going to pray every morning and I'm going to thank the Lord, or, whoever you're praying to, for the, today, and for the opportunity to go out and spread the word, or whatever it be, right? You can be one of those people, but there's too many people in the world today that they wake up and they hit the snooze button. They wake up and they lay in the bed, and they don't give themselves any more purpose than just being alive. And fulfillment is not going to just one day fall in your lap. And there's so many people who are just waiting for someone to come save them. They're waiting for their opportunity, when they are the people that have to go out and they have to create the opportunity for themselves. So one of the reasons why I had you come on is for you to be that resource for individuals to say, I'm ready to take action today. I'm ready to see what my life is, has for me, rather than, like just kind of going with the ebb and flow of how things are. So too many people, they live in their circumstance when they should be living outside of that circumstance and going toward destiny, which is them. It just creates a conundrum for many people because they need the energy to do it, but they're burdened by so much outside stimulus that they feel like they can't move. They feel like the world's on top of them, and it's almost debilitating. Think of it as debt, like going to the accounting aspect. When you have debt, it feels debilitating. It's like, oh man, I don't know what to do. And the way you get rid of debt is a little bit at a time. We take the small micro steps. We work our way up to being debt free. And in our life, it's the same way. So if we're looking for fulfillment, we work our way up to that. Because right now, you can have so many blessings in your life, but if you're so worried about the things that you don't have or the things that are going wrong, it's going to be hard to see those good things in your life. So it's about perspective, right? Because you might be so worried that you can't have a nice fast car, and then there's a person who's somewhere in the world who's trying to find some shoes to wear so they don't hurt their feet on the dirt or on the hot gravel or whatever it be. So we have two different people, two different desires. One is extremely lavish, and one is just the basic necessities that we take for granted. And I have found that when you give yourself the aspect of looking at what you have and what you can appreciate, you're going to be a better citizen of the world. It's just like you're going to go out and you're going to want to create meaning for yourself, because now you understand that you have something that you can give someone else. And I know that some people are like, they might be in a bad place right now, but it doesn't mean that you can't help someone else up. There's always someone who can benefit from you. It could be holding the door, it could be a smile, it could be something so small, something so trivial that you might not even pay attention to it because it feels insignificant to you, but to them it's everything. And fulfillment is not so much of a selfish thing, like, hey, I'm doing this so I can feel fulfilled. It's almost a universal bond that connects us all, because if I'm doing good and everyone else around me is doing good, I understand it creates that ripple. I understand that it's going to create something that's going to not only help the people around me, but the people down the road too. So we have to look at, we're not just being selfish for looking at our fulfillment or looking at our happiness temporarily, because from there we get to make some changes, we get to make the adjustments, and then it's almost like everyone else becomes abundant too. So there's so much to fulfillment. I don't know if you want to talk on that or if you wanted to bring up a different point.
No, I can share a little bit of my. First of all, yeah, thank you for sharing. Thank you, thoughtful, messages that you did. I share first of all that story, how I see. I remind myself when I went to a mountain, like it's just a small mountain nearby my hometown, my town here. This is where I learned this message that I was in mountain, and I don't do this often. So there are people who every morning go there and walk that mountain. It takes 20 minutes from bottom to top. Yeah. So I'm there, and I can see there are people who are but just going there fast because they used to. Some people who are already on top. And then I was feeling, okay, what am I doing here? I'm very slow. I'm only doing my first. People have done more. Some are there. And then I looked at some people are coming behind me as well. So when I looked at this whole framework, got me that clarity that people are everywhere. People are on the top of the mountain. People are there who are done 4 times in this morning, and I'm doing first time. They are that fast, and people who are just coming behind me, and they are a bit slower than me. And then I also noticed one other thing, that if I make a pace to to match the people who've done 4 times, I will be, out of my breath, and it won't be fulfilling. I would say that it wouldn't be the reason, the purpose I'm there is just to have, my morning fun. Yes, health is second priority, but this was our experience. So this way, experience is the top priority now. And for me, how and why I'm there for this morning, for example. So then I looked at, when I am in my own pace, solving my own purpose, taking the steps which are, aligned with my purpose, how fast, how slow. I want to do only once, not 4 times. And to that speed. So that gave me the perspective that, okay, life is the same. Now I relate that moment back to anything. Yeah, you know more than me in podcast journey. You've done 560s, 600, right? And I'm just starting. But that's my pace. What I'm doing is aligned with how I want to, fulfill my life, for example. Right? I can learn from you, but I can't just feel intimidated by your number, for example. And that's how I see now. And that moment, that learning experience gave me this huge, experience, that lesson, that perspective, that I can relate that now. So that's my point of view on that. People are behind me. My role is, if I could help them, at least share this story, that don't feel bad, because there are people behind you as well. And don't worry about people who are doing 4 times this morning. Just take your time. And if you are the one who can run faster, then create the skill and you'll do 4 times, 6 times, 8 times, your choice. So that's how I see it. And now fulfillment. When I look at fulfillment, there are 5 life circles. I mentioned that the very first life circle is yourself, and then 4 are other people. So yourself means, if you can live a life with meditation, sit in quiet and do meditation all the time, you can live a fulfilled life. That's also one path. But other than that, if you think, I want to have money, I want to have, create a brand where other people would, like you, would say that you are a kind. For anything else, that you need someone else there in your life. You need a spouse so that you can say you are a husband or a wife. You need a kid so that you can say that you are a father or a mother, right? You need, so that means that even to become a company, you need the client. To become a friend, you need a friend. For spiritual reason, you need a God. For anything other than you sitting and doing meditation, you need someone else in your life. And this is where I talk about different paradigm here, that every other person in your life is a client. When I say client, I talk about supplier and client relationship as a giver and receiver. Because when you look at the tennis match, one person served, another person, received, and the other person served, then only the ball comes back over the net. So in a slow motion, one person is serving first and the other person receives. And we become the server and a client, we exchange these roles with the people. When I talk to you, I'm the supplier, I'm sharing my message to you. And you're the client. I want to share so that you can fulfill that fulfilling outcome for you. That's my goal. And this is where, when we look at, you got to have a client, you got to have another person where you will create a fulfilling outcome for someone else. That's where you can achieve a fulfilling life. There's no other way other than meditation is one, but then you still need food. You need to do something. Now you need something, then you need someone else. Or you cannot produce everything now as a human, which creates fulfilling outcome for us. We are relying on so many things. So many things. There's so many creators are creating every day, which we rely on for our fulfillment. Whether it's a car, if someone is not producing the car, what would you do? someone is not creating money, then how would you be fulfilled? Because there is someone there. You got to look after them. You got to look after the other person to achieve those things. So yeah, it's not possible other than I'm saying, just sitting there and alone meditating. Otherwise, you got to have someone in your life to get yourself fulfilled. And that's not selfish. This is why in 7-step system, I take it. The step 3 is know your win. And then step 4 is know your client's win. Now you understand that every other person is a client. Now you understand that with the empathy and curiosity traits, values, that okay, how do I bring fulfillment to you? What does your audience want to hear? And how do they want to hear? Do they want a scripted answers, or do they want the real authentic conversation we are doing? So we need to find out and then serve them. Because if the audience is not fulfilled, you and I have no use of being here. It's not about you and I anymore. It's about them. It's about answering their questions, sharing our stories so that help them maybe unlock what something, doubt in their mind that he failed as well. He was stressed, jealous, and anxious. Oh, and he changed. We can. So that's why we're here.
Community plays a big part and role in who we are and how we can live our life today. I don't think people realize just how important community is. For example, you go to the grocery store. That food that you're going to buy, you didn't grow that food. It was a farmer, someone else, right? And everyone plays a part. And I have found that, from the podcast especially, the community, the audience, the coaches that come on, everyone plays a part, right? Everyone is working toward just, sharing a little bit of wisdom, the golden nuggets, I call it. And everyone brings in some newfound wisdom or newfound knowledge or experience to share, because I understand that I can't coach everyone in the world. I understand that I might not be everyone's cup of tea. And good, like if I'm not your cup of tea, I want you to find the person who will be your cup of tea or the person you will resonate with. Because from there, that's when you can start to, truly have some impact in your life. It's not about me all the time, like as much as that might make me feel good for a moment, I understand that, I'm not some omnipotent figure or being, like I'm at the service of you. And I hope the coaches that come on are also, there to be able to support you in some way. So, you know, after listening to an episode, it's not so much that you have to take action, it's just that you have a new awareness that you can take action, that you can make some changes in your life, be it big or be it small. And I know sometimes it can be daunting to do it by yourself, and that's why I always tell people, don't do it by yourself, do it with a friend, a mentor, a coach, a guide, preferably someone who has done it before, who has helped people and has a track record of helping people have done it before. Because yes, you can get a Sherpa and try to climb Mount Everest, but if that Sherpa has never climbed Mount Everest before, you're probably in some big trouble. So find someone who can that can get you to that destination, rather than just someone who's going to simply walk with you. Because again, we are all trying to get something more than what we have right now. And I have found that if you can give yourself a resource that's going to help you, you're going to be in a better place, and you're going to be excited for the next day to come, because you're going to say, I get to, rather than I have to. And that's a big change in the mindset. And many people are living in the mindset of I have to go to work, I have to do this, versus I get to. So it's a huge mindset shift. And I know, our conversation today is just a start for many people to look at their life and to gain some new introspection to what they can accomplish or what they should be doing. So, Mukesh, as we begin to wrap up, I would love to get some final words from you. So, of course, you can talk about anything that you would like to talk about. And then, of course, please tell the audience where they can find you.
My website, mikeshbajaj.com.au. I've got lots of free, guides, 7-step summaries, podcasts, so much there. And I'm putting there every day something that may help someone in need, for example. That's where you can find me. My book is launching on 6th of November, so you can pre-order all those things as well there. And I'm on Facebook as well, so I've got a very strong community there now as well. So maybe become part of that. So maybe you, again, it helps listening to those people as well. Because what I've found is I give you another experience that was watching telly, and there's one Bollywood star, and like people like is a very very famous, and people go to him for all the advices. Every newcomer would love to learn the acting direction from that star. What he acknowledged that his son doesn't value that advice as much as other people do. And this is truth, what you mentioned earlier, that we got to share this message with so many people. Sometimes what happens is that our own family may not see that advice valuable when they hear from us, but sometimes my son may hear the same message from you because we are sharing the similar messages. Our values are aligned. So it's not about only I need to tell that. It's not about me, it's about the message. It's about their own life, how they create what they create from that learning experiences, their own learning experiences. So so this is why I'm sharing with so many people, and I learn from them. I take that message with me, and then even I improvise every day through that learning, through the feedback I receive. So my just what I want to say is that start your journey wherever you are. Just be grateful for where you are, and send some thank you notes to the people in your life. And when you start from there, the other things open up. Thank you.
Perfect. And I'll make it easy for everyone. So, because I know we did a little backwards, not a problem. All the links are going to be in the description box below, so you can easily check him out from his website to get his book, and that's going to be out because the episode is going to be out. And then, of course, Facebook group, social medias, things along those lines, right? Because when you can give yourself this aspect of community and belonging, you are more prone to do the things that you might not do when no one is watching. They say that character is not when everyone is watching, is when no one is looking. So learn how to build your character, learn how to find the people who are going to help bring out that potential within you. And I know when it comes to being a parent and having kids, your children, there's only so far mom and dad can go before you have to get them a coach, a mentor, someone else that's not mom and dad to help them get to the next level. And it's for everyone across the board. We all benefit from teachers. We all benefit from mentors. We all benefit from being forever learners. So today was a great learning experience for, I hope, everyone that tuned in and is involved, and that they can take the next steps to find true fulfillment in their life. So I do want to thank you, Mukesh, for coming on, spending some time, and talking about your work.
Thank you, Michael. It's been very great. Thank you for your thoughtful questions. I loved it. I loved the conversation. Thank you.